Yo, the best football I ever seen in my life started in green and white.
Welcome to the Urban Pitch Podcast, the beautiful game of life. I'm your host for the day, Jeremy Riss. We got some dope-ass artists with us today. We got Lord Juco coming from Toronto.
Yo.
We got Cousin Feo coming all the way over from South Central.
Yes, sir.
Y'all want to introduce yourselves?
Cousin Feo, one half of this Death of the Derby series. Actually a third, because our homie DJ Dubplates in here. So
Shout out to DJ Dubplates.
yeah, and this is obviously Juco.
Yeah, Lord Juco, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Can't stress it enough. The other third of the Death of the Derby series. It's actually a collective of us, but yeah, those are the main three.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I've talked to Feo before for an article for Urban Pitch. Maybe start with you if you want to talk a little bit about how you got into hip hop, like where that started, where it began.
Starting out was a long time ago. My mom put me on with ODB. That's like one of the first standout voices. I didn't really know anything about him or like the background of it, but that's what kind of turned me on to listening to hip hop. And Toronto's always been a melting pot for hip hop, reggae, this and that. So I grew up in a very musically inclined family. I've listened to everything from like Black Sabbath to Shabba Ranks. So yeah, it's just always been there.
That sounds similar to your background. You want to talk a little bit about how you got into it?
Yeah, probably just as eclectic, in my family, anyone's house that we were at, whether it was a family function or just hanging out, anything from the Gypsy Kings to, Mana or, anything in between, the Bee Gees, all type of stuff, so, that, us doing, I guess, hip hop, all that influences us, those different melodies and cadences and sounds and, a lot of producers that we mess with are sample-based producers, so, we're always listening to records and, just making sure that, that music that we were influenced by, even though, it's not rap, we can find a new way to channel it, what I mean, to do our own thing.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned ODB. I feel like I hear a lot of Wu-Tang in your style. Maybe talk a little bit about, Wu-Tang and the elements of how you're bringing something into hip-hop that wasn't already hip-hop with the soccer connection.
Yeah, that's the most organic thing that could have came about because we're actually just natural soccer fans. And like by history of the nature, we should not actually be friends. So I'm a Liverpool fan, he's a Manchester fan.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And like there's nothing I like about Manchester except
Nothing
for
I like about
so,
Liverpool. So
you know what I mean?
Fair
But like the background of the soccer definitely helped make the music easier and it's organic, like I said.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, we just came with a thankfully, we just were able to kind of tap into a vein, you know what I mean? Most people didn't know they wanted Wu-Tang until Wu-Tang showed up and
exactly,
slapped them in the face with it, you know what I mean? And just adding the whole martial arts and that whole aesthetic, which is something they actually lived, they actually embraced that stuff and you can see it and feel it in the music. So, me and him just growing up playing, not just being fans of the sport, watching it, now, it's natural. I mean, what we're doing is very natural, and to be able, I think hip hop is the one genre that would allow us to blend this stuff together and it's not gonna come off corny or whack or anything like that, Our homie Dubs isn't here, but he's literally, I think, probably the most crucial element to what we do because the cuts that transition from our verses, that's where the culture is, that's where the energy that you would experience at a game or anything like that, that's where it's at. And then it really brings it all full circle when me and him are just, barring it out, just kind of giving people a little history lesson, but we still kind of representing the street side of it, you know what I mean? Because the sport is still played in the street. As a kid growing up in LA, at least for me, like, we had to call timeout if, the cars were coming through, we're setting up, whatever's available to us for goals, and that's how we're playing. All over the world, the same thing. Kids are kicking rocks, they're doing whatever they can on any terrain.
barefoot in the dirt.
So we represent that grit, that hustle, that's what we want people to feel when they listen to the music, and trying to follow in the steps of a Wu-Tang, we just got to try to bring the energy. We can never do what they've done. We can do what we're here to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But if anything, we can pay homage and bring that same raw energy, and that they did that inspired us, to be MCs, you know what I mean? So definitely the Wu's a huge impact, on what we do, not just on this, but just in general.
And so from Toronto, from South Central, how did you guys link up? What's the story there?
Soccer, man.
Yeah, the
Footy, a
internet
beautiful
too.
game.
If we're keeping it real, you know, we
actually to keep it a buck, the soccer thing is mainly his thing. Like I caught on to him because of it, because he had a project out. Was it creme fraiche?
I want to say it was a little caviar.
It was a little caviar. Yeah, no, that's my bad.
He reached out and showed love. You know what I mean? Which is amongst what we do as MCs is it's always like a taboo thing to show love. You know what I mean? Or like reach out and like give another cat daps and respect for what he's doing.
People take it as corny, but like when you see something like Zidane, you're like, okay, not too many people are talking about Zidane. So
yeah, he I already knew it was a genuine approach. You know what I mean? Like just from the very beginning that we started speaking, and then he's like, oh, let's cut a joint. So you know the whole Liverpool Manchester thing, we decided to initially start the Derby series without really knowing. You know what I mean? We just made a joint, and probably like a month or two afterwards, you know, we had just kept talking, and I was like, yo, how about we do a series based on all these derbies? And both of us just had that little emoji when the brain is all blown or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
literally. Like we started it, like the first joint was Liverpool, it was the Northwestern Derby, and like we did it just naturally, and then he's like, yo, why don't we do a series? I'm like, why? Like, how come I didn't think of, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is genius.
It's all falling together. So I mean, we here. You know what I mean? The series led us here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I feel like we like I said, we tapped into a vein. It's almost like a subculture. You know, it's really cool to see how many other producers. Some of the producers we work with are our homie Hobgoblin, who's produced a couple of the joints. He's an Arsenal fan. Like, you take the music aside from this, we all don't like each other. You know,
we shouldn't. Like
essentially,
Filthy Tarantino did Old Firms. He's a Celtic fan. Like, like everyone's actually a fan of footy, which is beautiful. Because like, without talking about it, you don't know who's really like watching. Because no one talks about soccer. You know what I mean? Like, you don't hear about Maradona often. Like, you'll hear a Messi line or something, but to like dive as deep as we have we've got a lot of love for it. So.
Hobgoblin was a semi-pro goalkeeper out in the UK at one point, you know, so it's just like everyone, like, it's really personal. And like the way, you know, the people who've been listening, supporting and stuff, people reach out suggesting derbies, asking us what country we taking in next to, or you know, and so that just lets us know that we're on the right track. You know what I mean? We're doing something special and different and unique. You know?
And so the structures of this project seems to be one person representing one team, another representing another team. So we're on a hip hop track like it's a soccer game. How do you guys pick who's representing which team? Are y'all flipping coins?
You know what? There's an unfair bias here, to be honest.
Okay.
Sometimes, because he's a little more up on it than I am, so he'll just take a side and be like, all right, yo, you right to this side. Like,
he's basically saying I'm cheating, but
not all the time. But hey, he's come to me like, all right,
you're the underdog. So you come in as the underdog.
Well, he actually even kick the aspect of making it Cousin Feo versus Lord Juco. You know, to make it feel like, okay, like it's a competition now type of thing. And, you know, it's dope to be able to spar with a really dope MC, like, on a monthly basis. I could probably tell people I feel like I've gotten better because of it. You know, naturally, if you train with good people, you're going to get better at what you do. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's how I kind of look at it. But yeah, man, I mean, you know, it's beautiful just to see how it's grown, and especially because he's where he's at, I'm where I'm at, and there's just this mutual ground that we've been able to find and you know, make it our own, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And what do we have coming up? What are we working on?
Well, you know, we don't really like giving away like what the next derby is. Like, we'll give hints. If you follow us on social media, we'll give you hints here and there. But we actually recorded the next derby last night.
Yes, we did.
So we finished that up.
And I'm glad he answered first, because I would have just straight out told you. So
I'm
glad.
Well, you know what? I normally had the idea of giving people the artwork at least, you know, to get the ball going. And he was like, no, they don't get nothing. They get they get the day it drops, they get it all, you know?
Yeah, I'm totally against like build up to stuff.
He just rather just hit people.
I find like when there's too much build up, you're creating expectations that you don't need. You know what I mean? Like, if we just drop something and someone shows up like, oh, this just came out, there's more of a chance of you listening to it than like you seeing it for 2-3 months and then be like, oh, finally this came out. You know what I mean?
No,
so
definitely.
I like the element of surprise with that.
Yeah, so we got, you know, we're 5 in, you know, we're dropping one every month, so we're still, you know, till come December you'll have 12 derbies. We might throw some surprises in there. We do have some really ill surprises for people, but again, you know, we don't want to let the cat completely out the bag.
Sure, yeah.
But
we don't want to fumble the bag.
Or fumble the bag.
We gotta
really
keep it quiet. Wait till it's over.
But yeah, stuff that people are gonna really enjoy, really gonna gravitate to. I think, you know, if we're keeping it true to the aesthetic of the sport, you know, being involved. Individually, I got an EP coming out in June called Provoleta, which is themed around Argentina's great soccer players. You know, so Maradona, Batistuta, you know, Kempes, you know, just to name a few of them. Just kind of continuing the theme that I started with my homie Kior, which I did a little caviar and creme fraiche with, which led him to us, you know, linking up. So we're just kind of taking that theme from France and I'm taking it to Argentina. You know, I'm just taking it to as many countries as I can that have a rich history that you know, we could do something with. You know, Spain, Holland, France, you know, there's still Brazil. There's so many countries that could be tapped, you know. It's just a matter, I like to find producers from the country. Yeah. To make it more true to that, you know what I mean?
And is that also through the internet that you're?
Yeah, you know, I'm not I use the internet for what I need it for in terms of like my music, you know. I think with social media, everyone feels pressure to like your personal life and all these other aspects of what you got going on. I try to limit it just to the music. So through Instagram, through Twitter, you know, I've been able to meet these amazing producers from all over, you know. The guy actually producing this EP reached out to us because he heard one of the Derby joints, you know. He reached out, he said, yo, please tell me you haven't done a Derby yet for so-and-so, and we're just like, actually, we haven't. And thanks to Juco, you know, saying, like, well, let's give him a chance, let's listen to what he has, we found a gem. Like, Dre is an amazing talent.
Yeah, it went from like just a shot in the dark to he got a project with him coming out,
and
he's doing a Derby. So like, you never know who's got like the next sound.
Sounds kind of like once you got a good idea, the snowball keeps rolling. Like,
exactly.
You know,
people been gravitating to us. You know, like you know, there's so many European producers that obviously love the game because it's much, you know, it's there. That's the number one sport there. You know. So we've been blessed to have these producers reach out to us and like offer, you know, can we get involved? You know, this, that, and the third. They'll shoot us production and kind of leave it up to us to handpick what we want to rock on. You know, so yeah, you know, that's what I got going on. I know he got some work coming too, but you know, I'll let him tell y'all.
Yeah, I got Lord Classy dropped top of the year, I think March. So that's there for the people to listen if they want it. It's just like a precursor to the next thing that's coming out.
It's on tape too. It just came out on tape.
Yeah, the cassette pre-order dropped today through Loretta Records, so you head over to lorettarecords.com. You can pre-order the cassette. I have something coming very soon. Like I said, I'm not really into announcements and stuff like that, but if you just follow me, something's always going to be there. I'm always at least doing one record every month, bare minimum. So there's always music, there's always new music, but there's a lot of stuff in the works. I just don't want to like speak on it yet because
we don't need to then.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
What about what's it been like getting on these records? I've been listening to a lot of your music lately, and you know, on these records with the Griselda guys. How'd you get linked up with them? Just with Rock Marciano,
honestly,
Conway.
Instagram and Buffalo's not very far from me, so I've showed up to a few shows. I've met Benny, you know, like he was actually like the connect to the whole Griselda thing. Yeah, and through him I've been able to tap in with everybody else. So Benny was actually like the link there, and that was at I think a Jamal Gasol show, believe it or not. It wasn't a Benny show. He just showed up, and because he gets mad love in Buffalo, so there's no better way to meet someone than organically like that. You know what I mean? Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. Have you been able to get in the studio with them, or is it kind of like we're just
Benny? Everything else has been over email because all those guys are all over the place, so it's hard to lock them down. But yeah, I definitely did joints with Benny in the studio.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this guy's a young legend.
Trying to
believe me.
Trying to be.
And Feo, what about you on the track with Vic Spencer?
Oh, Vic's the homie, man. That's my brother, man. He one of the best MCs out of Chicago. You know, definitely just great people too. He does a lot of community work. Helps a lot of the kids, you know, around his way that, you know, come from tough situations and backgrounds and stuff. And he doesn't just rap. You know what I mean? He'll tell you that himself. But his work ethic is amazing. You know, it's somebody that, like I spoke earlier, you know, it's kind of taboo to show love and like give respects or shout outs to other artists, you know, that inspire you. But Vic is one of those cats. I'm sitting next to another one of those cats right here. You know what I mean? I like to, if you're not surrounded by people who aren't inspiring you, you know, I think Nipsey said it recently, or I seen a quote of him where it's like, your circle, if the people in your circle don't inspire you, you're in a cage, you know? And so essentially, you know, I like to keep people around me that are gonna just push me, man. Like, they may not even know they're pushing me. They're just being who they are, being talented, being dope, and I'm just like, okay, cool. That's the bar, cool. That's what we want, you know, try to level up to.
That being said, shout out to Esco in the cut.
Yeah, the homie Esco as well, who's here in the building with us. You know, that's another, been a huge supporter for us, you know what I mean, playing our music on his station.
Yep.
Break beats and rhymes, you know what I mean, every Saturday night, midnight to 2 a.m. Yeah, 90.7, you know what I mean? So they've been showing us amazing love from the get, collectively, individually. So, you know, everything's been a blessing, man. I can't really complain. And like, if I was, I'm a poor sport.
Well, yeah, let's keep it on influences and stuff. I know last time we talked was before the tragic case of what does Nipsey Hussle mean to you, and why was that such a big moment for you?
Man, you know, living in the area that he represented, you know, off of Crenshaw and Slauson, like my whole family kind of lives within blocks of one another, you know. And I was fortunate enough to meet him just once, not even like on some like sit down, you know, conversation like this, but he used to go to a tattoo shop my uncle used to work at. And this is when he was still, you know, in the streets doing his thing, kind of full-fledged on that side of things still. But he would come up to the shop because he knew people there. He was really good friends with one of my uncle's friends. So that's how we even like got introduced to him. And he would bring music up to the shop, just play people like the new joints that were coming out. And he just had an energy, man. Like you couldn't deny that. You just knew he was going to do something. We just didn't know what it was, you know, what it was going to be or how great he was going to be, you know. But we saw him go from, you know, here and to just skyrocket, you know, just show people, you know, from around his way where I've, you know, grown up, what you could do, you know what I mean? Just being able to step outside, everything he rapped about, you could see it, you know, the businesses, the investment in the community, you know, the change, his presence. You can go over there and I could honestly tell you, I sense a void, you know. It's just a big, you know, source of energy that was taken from people. So yeah, man, I mean, he very wise, intelligent. I mean, the guy built his own computer, you know what I mean? That lets you know at a young age he was an engineer, you know. If he was given the resources to pursue that, maybe he would have never, you know, gangbanged or anything, you know. We never know, but you know, regardless of that, he still found his way to the top, you know. He was an example, you know, someone you can look up to just for the man he was as opposed to the artist he is, you know what I mean? So yeah, so it's a bigger loss, you know, because you saw him go from the bottom to the top, you know. And when Pac and Biggie passed, I was still too young to fully understand how big that was for other people.
Sure, yeah.
But you know, unfortunately now I guess we understand, you know, because we have our own. So yeah, man, I mean, he'll forever be an influence. Just living there, you know what I mean? You can't go anywhere around that neighborhood without a mural. You know, everyone's rocking the Crenshaw shirts. The store's forever gonna be there, you know, like it'll never change, you know. So that energy is definitely something I try to apply to what I do, you know, for sure, definitely.
And what about influences for you?
Well, just to speak on the Nipsey thing,
yeah,
like,
sure.
Since I've been here, like you could feel the void that he's talking about. Like you could definitely feel like something's missing, or like I don't want to say people are lost because that's a bold statement, but like you could definitely feel like that energy is missing. It's like just like this pot of not knowing what to do with this guy gone now, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy to see from outside looking in. So it's just wild coming here and seeing that. But in the city, we really took most of our influences from New York, like. Unfortunately, Esco was putting me on to Toronto rappers today. Like, I'm from the city. I'm embarrassed. Like I should know. You know what I mean? But like we were coming up on Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, stuff like that. Like I credit my mom's. My mom's played everything for me. So
cool.
like I listened to everything from Fugees to, like I said, Led Zeppelin. Like I can't like pinpoint who directly influenced me to be who I am today, style wise, outside of my Dukes themselves. But yeah, like it's a broad spectrum, so I can't really narrow it down.
Yeah. And then bringing it back to soccer, like how do you guys, you know, the references you're making with all these derbies across the world, it's a deep soccer knowledge. Where is this coming from? Is that also just in the family kind of stuff?
Yeah, for me it is. You know, my uncle played professionally in Guatemala for when he was younger, like in his 20s. His son, one of my older cousins, here in LA, as far as like high school all the way through like college, and even now, like his whole life is a sport, you know. So from an early age, man, like we still got like the '94 World Cup on VHS, like we recorded it. You know what I mean? So we could throw that into the VCR and like watch those games, just to learn. You know.
Just to study.
Yeah, just to study and
94 World Cup.
Yeah, just being around it. You know, I've been playing since I was like 5-6 years old. I probably stopped playing seriously around 18, 19 off of injury, but
that's all our stories.
You know,
that's my story
too.
We were
good.
good.
We don't need to get into that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice run. You know, I enjoyed myself. But you know, it changed everything. But the love didn't, you know, go away. You know, obviously being a fan, watching it, you know, getting out and playing here, you know, time to time. I'll probably give you a nice solid like half of effort, you know. After that, it's a wrap, you know.
Half of a half.
Yeah,
20 minutes strong.
Yeah, super sub. You know, just give me like 10 minutes and I'm out there. But yeah, you know.
Are you guys still playing?
Nah.
No.
For fun, here and there, you know.
I can't even say for fun. I've tried men's league. They take it way too serious.
Oh, yeah.
Dudes be fighting. Like, I got work in the morning. It's just not for me anymore. Like, my time has come. You know, I'm a spectator now. I just watch. I'm religiously attached to my team, and that's it.
And we take it into art now.
Yeah, exactly. So like being lifelong fans and playing the sport definitely helps, but there's a little research goes into it.
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
You
like,
can't just be going in blind.
Yeah,
no,
for sure.
You gotta know the culture's history. So
with respect to the teams, you know, respect to people that, you know.
Yeah, like I can't. Sorry to cut you off. I can't say I didn't know enough about Fenerbahce or Galatasaray. Like, I know of them growing up, who's went there, like big names that I know.
Sure.
But like to actually look into it, to make a song, like you gotta do a little research.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. We just want to, you know, fans out of the country here. That's life or death, you know. Yeah. If you misrepresent, you know, that guy didn't play for. Like if I were to say. If I was repping, like, let's say Boca and like mention a River Plate a player in that verse, like,
you're done.
It's
so easy to be corny doing what we're doing. Like you could just say one thing wrong and then be like,
And I mean, if I were ever in Argentina, someone heard that, like, that's blasphemous, you know, like like how could you get that wrong? Yeah, you know, and it's like, so we make sure we don't get those things wrong, because
you got to tread carefully.
It's real life, you know. It's a religion outside of the states, you know, and so we respect it as one.
Yeah, and I like that you guys are kind of coming with the raw energy that these events and spectacles often have. These derbies have, like the beats are hard, the rhymes are hard.
Try to keep it authentic.
Yeah, no, I mean,
imagine what a live show would be like.
Right? We were just talking about being able to, like, you know, just let us go to one of these derbies and like perform, like, you know, we'll get down with the people afterward too, you know, just to give it the foot, you know. But yeah, man, I mean, it's there's a dark side to it, you know, obviously. You know, hooliganism and all that stuff in Europe is a whole other world, you know. It's not even soccer anymore, really, when you like get into certain groups, you know. But it's a side that does exist, you know. It didn't just happen, you know, even 20 years ago. It's been around. Some of these derbies are 100-year-old beef, you know what I mean? And it's always tied into social status and class and, you know, stuff. So there's, you know, the roots are deep with all this stuff, you know what I mean? So it really does create the atmosphere for this, you know, the potential violence and stuff like that, you know? So we don't want to say we were focusing on the violence, but we're not just going to, you know, act like it doesn't exist, you know. So we're just trying to keep honest to that, you know, and like you said, keep it raw, you know, give it that sound, you know. Just makes you feel like, you know, you might want to light a flare, like, you know,
or just watch a game.
Light a flare in the living room.
Yeah, just for no reason, just light one up in the living room, just like, what happened? He's like, I just heard this Death of the Derby joint and I had to. Sorry.
Burn the house down.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's like I said, it's all been a blessing, like, you know, to have it come together as nicely as it has. All the producers blessing us with the production we need, you know. We'll get little packs of beats, you know, he'll listen, I'll listen, and more often than not, we agree on what beat. Like, we already kind of both knew, okay, that's the one, you know. So yes, Hobgoblin, Filthy Tarantino, Pharma,
who else?
Abomination. Hobgoblin has 2 so far. But you know, he does. They're the names that we work with so far. We got another handful of producers that, you know, really dope cats that, you know, we'll introduce to people when the tracks come out. You know, we don't want to give their names up either. So it's going to be fun, man. We still got a lot of places to go with the series, you know, a lot of continents and countries to touch still. So we just, sometimes it's tough being patient, because sometimes I do want to give people the tracks a little sooner, but.
Yeah, I'm trying to jump the gun and get all the
yeah, you know, when we're down here, you know, you might get the privilege of a sneak peek joint.
Off air, we could take care of that.
Yeah, we can give you a sneak peek.
Let's keep the names going. Let's say favorite soccer player of all time. We'll start with you.
By bias and my upbringing, it's Luis Figo. So.
Oh yeah, he got to go with the Portuguese player.
I had no choice. Like, my dad was like, "You see this guy? You're gonna play soccer one day." That's the guy.
That's the guy.
Okay.
Figo.
Yeah. So it was an inspirational.
Where'd he start out at?
I believe Sporting, and then Porto. That guy's gang hopper, man. That guy went to Inter, then AC, then Madrid, then Barca.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember him fondly at Madrid.
Everywhere.
He played both sides of the coin, like literally
in like 3 countries. So yeah. But he was a legend, man. Like I remember seeing the stepovers for the first time with him.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Figo.
Yeah, it's a nice choice. That's
what
a really
about you,
nice
Feo?
choice. Man, I'm probably gonna have to go with Ronaldinho, just because I feel like before we got into this stage of Messi and like Ronaldo, like he really changed the game.
Yes.
Like you
Especially
didn't see,
from a street kind of like
just bringing the futsal, shedding so much light on that aspect of how he became as dope as he was. But man, like he was crossing people over like Allen Iverson was doing with his hands. You know what I mean? He was doing it with his feet.
He never looked like he was under pressure.
Yeah, never uncomfortable.
Never.
You know, and whether it was off the shoulder, it could be off his back. It could be
the control was there.
It was just uncanny. You know what I mean? And he did it for, you know, Barcelona, you know, AC Milan, you know, biggest clubs, he shined all the time, you know, and he was just a great ambassador for the game. And you know, now you see all the flashiness you see now, like you gotta the precursor was him, you know. So I'm gonna have to go with Ronaldinho.
Cool.
And it's funny because I'm sure we could both agree Zidane's probably the greatest soccer player of all time, but like preference-wise and upbringing and influences,
Zidane is.
You'll get no arguments on this side.
Yeah, I mean, I made a song about him, so I feel that way too.
No, he's definitely
legend.
Yeah.
And then what about favorite rap album? Start down here again.
I don't even know if I could do that, to be honest. Favorite rap album? That's way too hard to narrow down. I could say the most like plays I've ever put on an album is probably Legacy of Blood, Jedi Mind Tricks.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, cause there was like a solid 5-year period where I couldn't listen to anything.
Vinny Paz is just
Vinny Paz,
just engraved in his brain.
This is the dude. Yeah. So I had a little stubborn period.
Yeah.
That's probably the one then.
Yeah.
Legacy of Blood.
I'm surprised you didn't say Styles.
You know what? Gangsta and Gentleman's like huge, but I've definitely listened to more Vinny out. Like,
just because I've heard him say
mixtape.
Styles P more than I've heard him say what he just said.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, because like Styles P was all the mixtapes, you know.
Yeah.
So, like half the tracks, I know the words, I just couldn't tell you what
I feel like
the
he's
tracks
still coming
called.
out with like an
he's
album
still
a
kicking.
month,
He's still destroying stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's still destroying.
Most potent, definitely.
I mean, rapping as a sport, like, you know, it's not like an actual sport where physically your body like it taps out after a while. Like, we're rapping. This is mental. This is more like a mental thing. So we should be getting better. I feel like, you know, as you get older, like your stuff should get better.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's another Wu-Tang thing of keeping the sword sharp.
All day.
Keeping the pen sharp.
All day. Man, now you got me thinking. I haven't thought about this either, about what my favorite album is.
Putting it on the spot.
It's hard to narrow that down.
Oof. Oh my God. Damn. You know,
Trapped
I'm gonna just
you
go
got
with something that just like probably set me off just as much as Wu-Tang, but I'm gonna say East 1999 from Bone Thugs.
Oh shit. Okay.
Because my uncle was probably the biggest influence in terms of like passing me down rap stuff, and Into the 36 Chambers and East 1999 were like on cassette, and he had them just like those were the constant things he was playing. And when he got tired of them, I got the hand me down, and man, just.
You wore him out.
Yeah, completely, man. And there's just nothing. There'll never be nothing like Bone Thugs. You know, just how they came out, the sound.
Yeah.
You know, at the time, just the artwork itself was just kind of like creepy, like you know, Tales from the Crypt. You know, meets the hood type stuff or whatever. So I'll go with that one just because to this day, you know, I can listen to it front to back and turn it up to obnoxious volume level, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it takes me right back to when I first got that tape, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll go with the Bone Thugs.
Yeah.
They need that love right now too, I think.
Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah, not to knock 36 Chambers or like Gangsta.
There's so many, man.
Like
I could say, you know, you could say
Reasonable Doubt.
Illmatic,
Yeah.
you could say Reasonable Doubt,
Not
you
to
know.
knock any of those, but
Yeah.
All
It's
those
a tough
projects
question.
had an impact.
Yeah.
You know, every one of those, but
yeah, I know some old heads gonna be like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know
What
someone's gonna
album
be
he
like, he
say?
said
My
Bone
God.
Thugs. He could have said
These
so
guys-
many other
These
things.
guys
Like,
don't listen to rap.
I could have said Muddy Waters from Redman. You know what I mean? I could have
Yeah.
said, you know, Iron Man. I could have said
There's
the
so
Purple
many.
Tape.
There's so many.
See,
There's so many.
I feel like I kind of messed up now, so whatever. I'll live with it. We'll
It's
live.
hip hop.
We'll
It's
live,
still
yeah.
hip hop.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can never make a good list in hip hop. Everyone's
Yeah.
gonna get mad. Like,
yeah,
you know,
that's a fact.
like lists are not good in hip hop.
How do we feel about going into some bars?
Ooh, do I have anything off the top of my head?
God, you gonna do this to me?
Ooh, he's even gonna bring the
Feo got it. He
Oh,
told, he
man,
told me on
see
the
if
way
I-
up here. He's ready for this.
Let me see if I got anything. Yeah.
Can we
Check
cuss?
it. Yo, fresh out the kitchen with the provoleta. We focus on the meta, so no te metas. We celebrating like it's Noche Buena. Yeah, I'm Gabby Hines with the old Beretta. I could flow forever. I need loads of cheddar. Man, see, oof. I wasn't prepped for this.
I said, you don't play that part. Motherfucker, you just look it. Chasing after pussy, I was overlooking. Get no shine in my city, I might do a show in Brooklyn. Snatch the crown when the king takes a bow with a smile on my face like, yeah, I took it, why you looking funny? I'll be in Aruba if you looking for me. And it's funny how these girls are, pay no attention, they so far off. Like the search engine on World Star, every melody's a felony. Fuck's a misdemeanor. My cousin love these white girls, where the fuck is Miss Christina?
Yeah, you should have gone first
Son
at
of
the beginning.
Spanish made the cleanup. Baby, if you love me, you sign this fucking prenup.
Hey,
Then nothing else can come between us. Morningwood fiends, I serve them like Serena.
yeah, see that. There you go. You see, that's why I hang out with him. Makes me look
Yeah.
nice when I mess up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good looking out, G.
Yeah, we got to.
Hey, man.
We got to.
Well, yo, thanks for coming, y'all. Looking
you for
forward to
having
the
us.
future projects and the future releases and the future tours and the future getting into these stadiums with the derbies, and rocking
Oh
with
man,
the fans and with
from
the
your
flags
lips
and
to
with the
God's
fucking-
ears, my man. Like
Let's
if
go.
we could do that, you know.
I just need enough money to be a traveling fan, and I'm good.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah,
it.
I mean, like we need like a Copa 90 deal. Like, you know, any of these people, like, you know,
Yeah,
tuning in
yeah.
or will tune in. Like, yo, like we breathe and sleep and eat and think about this stuff all day. So,
Yeah.
you know,
we need the FIFA placement, the whole
Soccer
nine.
and hip hop.
yeah.
Maybe some food.
Oh, food's
Yeah,
definitely. There's
food,
no.
food
Food
definitely.
too.
Get some, you know,
Can't
some
skip
Food as
food.
well.
some beers. You know what I mean?
Just
And
the overall good time, man.
you know, some jerseys, and you know, we're gonna lose our voice by the time we're
Yeah.
done. You know, that's how we get down. But
Let's
no, thank
go.
you guys for having us here, man.
thank
We
you,
appreciate it
man.
for sure.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you.
Urban Pitch, everybody. You know what I mean? Like, thank you guys again. Appreciate it.
Shout outs.
You want to do a shout out? You got anyone you want to shout out?
I got the poses.
Yeah, actually, if I do got to shout out anybody again,
That's it.
let me shout out the homie Corey Gibson. He mixes and masters all our music.
Cool.
He creates all the cool little highlight clips that you guys see when we're promoting the Derby joints on a monthly basis. So shout out to him. He's all the way in South Carolina, of all places.
Hey, let's go.
But
That's
my
area.
my dudes out there, you know, Dub Plates, of course. What's it called? He actually just came back from playing Soundset with Blimes Bringston and Gifted Gab.
That guy is.
He's amazing. He's a really talented dude.
Yeah.
So shout out to
Yeah.
Dubs because he brings it all together. My dude Ricky Cepeda, who does all the artwork. You know what I mean? Really just adding another layer to what we're doing with the Derby
Yeah.
series. His
Artwork's
is
been fire so
Amazing.
far.
yeah, amazing artwork.
Amazing.
See that? I'm like, I gotta drop what I'm doing
Yeah.
because this shit just came out.
Yeah.
No,
Let's go.
he really
Yeah.
brings people in with the work, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, those three guys are very important to what we do. Me and Juco have the easy part, being able to just to rap,
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
you know. But they bring it all together for the presentation and for what people experience, you know. And who else? Are we missing anybody? We can't say none of the other
We got
producers.
Ricky, Dub Plates, and Corey.
Yeah, we got.
That's Death of the Derby.
Yeah,
This is
that-
me, Feo,
That's the
Dub
team.
plays, Corey, and
Y'all didn't
Ricky.
even need 11.
Yeah,
Nah,
we ran with 5, man.
It's a
It feels like
futsal
11.
team. It's a
Futsal
futsal
team,
team.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, man, shout outs to those guys. You know, shout out to all the producers that we are gonna introduce to people. They know who they are. We don't want to make them seem like we're leaving them out,
Yeah,
but
it's coming.
you know, yeah,
Shout out to Urban Pitch.
yeah. Shout out to you guys and everyone else who's been
Happy,
rocking
happy.
with the music. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Thank you again, man.
Yeah. The ops throwing in the
I got
tails
it.
bleeding. They know we repping that old doc, that's no shot. When I defend it like old block, we blow spots. So that's peace to my Slovenians. But here in Portugal, I'm Eusebio in the stadiums. Play me on the radio, but never try to play me.